Actually, 444 is a
No,
meta.
that's
That was a good
Airtel.
one.
That's
That's
Airtel.
it.
No.
No, I like that one. It was
All right, people.
people
We are
thinking
in
of their feet.
5 seconds. Studio. Oh, oops, no.
You first. First Bank.
Okay, 5 seconds. Studio. Well, Lagos, here we are. It is gone past 7:30 for Wednesday morning. This is Freshly Pressed on Smooth Breakfast with Kaide Baker.
And Triple Martins, and you are welcome to the program.
Joining us for today's episode of analysis on what's going on the national front, we have got our two Wednesday analysts, Alakunle and Devo. Good morning and good morning.
Okay, good morning, Shopper. Good morning, Coyote. Good morning, Tivo. Good morning, Lagos.
Yeah, good morning, Lagos. Morning. Cool. One more strike to go.
All right.
Moving on, we've got news for you. We've got interesting
We've got
news
lots
coming
of
your
news for
way.
you, but first
And
we should give you how to get to us.
exactly, we've got you joining us on the news. We are streaming live right now up on youtube.com/smooth981 FM Lagos. You can go over there, you can watch the live stream, you can leave your comments on the live stream so that we can read them out during the show. We are also taking messages on WhatsApp. The number to send them into is 0809 440 981.
That's right. Okay, so don't forget, you can also reach out to us on YouTube, like Shopper mentioned. It's youtube.com/smooth91 FM Lagos. And yes, hashtag freshlypress981 on Twitter.
All right, let's go on into the news now from the Punch newspaper. Clearing agents ground port operations and begin indefinite strike over CBN evaluation. Devo, I will be coming to you for your take on this story as as we get into it. Now, port operations at both Tin Can Island and the Ports and Terminal Multipurpose Limited may have been grounded on Monday. This is following the commencement of the withdrawal of services by agents and freight forwarders operating at both ports. And this seems to be in connection with the CBN circular that was that put into effect on the 1st of February, which announced the introduction of e-invoicing for all imports and exports in the country. Now, freight forwarders have last week gave the authority 72 hours to address all the technical glitches that they say came in with the newly introduced system or face industrial action. Obviously, that didn't happen because now we've got the action on. Devo, your thoughts?
Another strike warming up. And I guess everybody's going to go on strike, yeah, for one reason or the other. But in this issue, the freight and clearing forwarders, operators, have decided to take this move because they cannot explain, neither can they justify the jump or the hike in what they refer to as a technical glitch on the new e-valuation system. It's a play of words right there. Now, the CBN said this was a new system introduced, obviously, to kind of drive e-governance, one, two, and also drive proper revenue collection, okay, working with various ministries, departments, and agencies. And in this instance, the Nigerian Customs Agency is responsible and in charge for this collection. Now, out of the four ports in Lagos, the operators grounded Tinkan and the PTML, okay, that's the Ports and Terminal Multipurposes Limited. They said as of from Tuesday next week and Wednesday they will ground Kirikiri and Apapa. Now, what they said, like I said, they said that they were shocked. That's the president of the association was speaking. That it seemed as if with this new platform, which they encouraged and also adopted, that there was a hike in the customs. There was an increase in customs duty. Okay, and for example, he said a 2011 vehicle that normally used to be cleared for 600,000 naira on the system, it's the what is there to be debited is 3 million naira.
Oh, wow.
Now that's a 5 times the usual charge. Now, so they've said that they will, I mean, that's going to run the clearing agents out of business and that they will withdraw their services until the authorities speak to that effect. Now, Customs has spoken initially and said that they're only enforcing the new federal government policy, not aware of this hike in prices. Now, for me, it's the truth is, I mean, if you're paying 5 times the price on clearing, if you've ever cleared goods either by way of importation or you're preparing goods for export, I mean, that's a whole lot. I mean, many of us are even struggling to even save up to even buy these cars, and now we're having the clearing bill that is being multiplied. So the real issue here, because we're yet to hear from CBN, who is the grandfather of this e-platform, that is it a case that revenue generation is being properly collected, or is it a case that some level of inefficient collection is being exposed? Because I think some of us really know what goes on with customs collections and the very nice table negotiations that take place to bring those prices down.
Because
So
I would venture to say that there is a little bit of a symbiotic relationship when it comes to agents and
yes,
customs.
especially with the operators and customs. You know, customs is acting like the nice guy now and saying it's not me. They're pointing it at the federal government. But the truth is, it's really going to affect not just the custom operators, but you and me whenever we try and import one thing or the other, or export on the flip side.
And considering the fact that we are an import dependent
Yes, and if they withdraw their services, it's going to bring another halt in operations. Maybe we're looking for some fresh air in that zone, but anyhow, just
Well,
kidding, just kidding.
we've got more stories coming your way. Let's get to them.
All right, so from this day newspaper, this one comes to you, Laconic. Again, lawmakers urge the federal government to declare state of emergency on security. Now, let's put background to this. Right, the House of Representatives has again called on the federal government, to, as a matter of urgency, declare a state of emergency on security. Now, they're asking the NSA, the IG, the DG, Army, other security agencies and task force, to try and restore security in Anambra states and also the border states, which is Imo State as well. What do you make of this,
Well, my opinion about policing security in Nigeria has remained the same over the years, and it's always that it is not the job of the military to provide internal security.
Okay.
Asking the military to get involved in internal security is indicative of the failure and the collapse of our security system in itself. The military as we have it today is overwhelmed. Mention one state in Nigeria that the military is not involved in one security activity or the other. Meanwhile, there is the Boko Haram thing up there that is almost like a full-scale war that they are dealing with.
Okay.
There is the pirates on our international waters that they also have to deal with. So if you now take those ones out of those, so who's going to do all those ones if you bring them in to come and be doing internal security? I think that what we should do, we know what we should do. We're just playing together with all these discourse that we're having. Now,
when you say we should, we know what we should do.
now
What
the
should
first
the
thing,
government do?
yes, that's what I'm saying. That's where I'm headed. The first thing to do is today we have 350,000 policemen to guard, to protect 200 million people. How in the world can that be possible? We know that the police is understaffed. We know that they are under-equipped. We know they are not where they are under-trained. We have a lot of young men who can fill in these vacancies in the police, and so that is one. If the other or the alternate part of it is also that if it is there is need for us to try something different, I am one of those who firmly believe that you can't be doing the same thing over and over again the same way and expect a different result. We've run our policing centrally like this for 60 years. We're going to get a different result. If we have to change it, it's in the hands of the people in the House of Rep who are making these comments.
Really quickly, though, now that you mentioned that the police, they're also asking that the House should ask the police to restore the checkpoints that were on the roads, basically, because
No.
those
They are
checkpoints
saying
now.
that they're talking about the non-state actors who set up roadblocks.
Okay.
That the police and the security agency should help to remove them. That's what they're saying in that report. Now look at this. A part of that story that I highlighted says that Chief Gab Ofoma, a senior state surveyor, a first-class graduate of Bayero University, Mr. Sule Matthew, who was being mobilized for his national service, Chief Fabian Ungora, were killed within a close period of each other in one state. 3 people. Look at them. the economy of the state in the hand of one, a youth combat, a first class graduate who has his future ahead of him, was just going to serve his country, was killed. So we can see the effect of those things on our economy, on our psyche as the people, and so on and so forth. So if the people who have the power to alter the laws or to update the laws to make things happen are the ones talking, what are we then? Why are we sitting down? What are we talking about these things for? To change the acts of policing is in the hands of the National Assembly. They are part of the National Assembly. The governors, they meet, they have a governors forum. The states House of Assemblies, they have a state assembly forum where they meet.
So
Those are the people that are needed to change these laws, to make this happen. That is the starting point. If we want to keep the central, if we want to do something different, to change it is in the hands of these people as well. So talking is not enough to do this thing. Let's get some action on this thing.
Thank you so much, Dr. 08094440981. That's the number to send your messages to.
All right, let's move on now to this message. This story in from the Vanguard newspaper. Federal government to collaborate with Republic of Korea in tackling unemployment. This is according to the Minister of Labor and Employment, Senator Chris Ngige, who said that the collaboration would explore opportunities in the agricultural sector and help with the job creation and ease off the unemployment pressure in the country, especially amongst the youth and women. He said this while receiving the ambassador of the Republic of Korea in Nigeria, Mr. Kim Young-chae, on Tuesday in Abuja. And he said that, hey, well, all these made in Korea products enjoy such high patronage in Nigeria that Korea should also reciprocate our patronage by getting some of their raw materials from Nigeria. Devo, what would you say to this? I wouldn't have thought about Korea and Nigeria and putting the two together, but no, once you start thinking about it, you wonder.
Korea, ha ha ha. That's a bit of Korean. However,
I'm sure that's not a bit of Korean.
It is.
It is?
Yes,
Okay.
but in this instance,
What does it mean?
ha 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 ha. It's like saying we're fine and we're doing well. Yeah.
I don't believe that.
Now,
For a second.
the federal through the Ministry of Labor, in this instance, is trying to partner from an economic point of view. Someone's trying not to laugh. Yes, I know Chinese and Korean sounds that way. However, the minister in his position was asking the Korean government to actually drive the economy through participation in the agricultural sector. All right, it was targeted, which would drive employment and also improve Nigeria's foreign exchange earnings, which was targeted at youth and women. These are buzzwords that we've heard before. But the minister of the Korean contingent said that they would be establishing a skills acquisition center in Kogi, that's in north central Nigeria, which they were meant to look at seeing how they'll expand the opportunities. Now, my only issue with this story, because it's not so much of a story, is the fact that whilst he said to improve our balance of trade, that's the extent that we import the Korean electronics versus how much they take our own goods, that we do more importation from their end than they buy our raw materials. So he was encouraging them to take more of our raw materials for their own products. Only issue there was if you're asking the Koreans to actually help you in driving your economic activity, especially unemployment, then you should have really made some, not mandatory, but urge them to actually drive processing. Okay? You see, when we do international trade, Africa as a whole has had a bad history in just basically come and take it the way it is, and then we get the lowest earnings in terms of income on what we push out there. Like, for example, they take our cocoa, we just pluck it from the tree, package it, and send. Now, if you pass that cocoa through a processing plant, even cashew, if you process it, meaning you deshell it, you bring out the shell, and maybe you roast it for some specified degrees, you will get ×3 in terms of foreign exchange of value on that. And that comes to the country. So the question you should be asking is, why is Nigeria, especially in agricultural products, why are we not concentrating as a nation, okay, in creating processing activity and capacity so that we can earn proper foreign exchange? There's something wrong with the Nigerian person. because it's clear that with the free raw materials that we have in this country, we're not doing anything about increasing our capacity.
All right, thank you so much for that, Dubo. Got a few messages up on our WhatsApp platform. We'll get to those messages. We see one from Dami from Ikeja.
From Ikorodu, Dami says, 8 years ago, President Goodluck Jonathan declared a state of emergency in Borno, Adamawa, and Yobe states. The security situation got worse in the aftermath until the political class got serious about security because of the 2015 elections. Security will not improve until those who are designated to provide it step up to their responsibilities.
And Frank says, Chisa has always said it, money, money no they CBN. It's helping the government generate more revenue. No surprises for me. All right, a few more messages though.
Oh, wow. Yinka Balu says, Devil, it's simply that we are lazy. I'm not sure about this collective we pronoun, but all right then, continue.
Let's get to our next story. This one talks about the CITN and the ICSAN. So the Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria, the Institute of Chartered Secretaries and Administrators of Nigeria, Association of Forensic Accounting Researchers, and Taxpayers' Rights Initiative, among other professional bodies, have kicked against a proposed amendment bill seeking to empower the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria to regulate members on practice of accounting, taxation, and other professions. Now, they describe the move as an encroachment into the statutory obligations of other professional bodies. Now, Lachlan, I'm coming to you with this one. What does this mean exactly?
This is not actually a new development,
Okay.
right? I remember sometime in 2003 or 2004, this came to a head then, and ICANN asked their members who are members of CITN to resign their membership of CITN because of this same issue. Now, as of this morning, the Act of Parliament of 1965 that's set up and recognized ICANN says that it is to regulate the profession of accountancy and related matters. Now, what ICANN is proposing in the new amendment is to say to regulate members on practice of accounting, taxation, and other professions. So you see the variation in that. Now, CITN didn't exist before 1982. So technically between 1965 and 1982, the membership of ICANN had done everything in that chain, accounting, taxation, and other things.
Okay.
And so therefore, when CITN came into being, the chances are that all members of ICANN as at then became members of CITN.
Okay.
So they will continue to do everything. Today, you probably find CITN members who are not members of ICANN, but you most likely find that almost all members of ICANN are members of CITN because of that precedence or the first movers, whatever. So the issue here that I see is just the power of lobby. ICANN has a powerful lobby out there, and they are using it to the max. And that's why they always make this first move in all of these things. I don't think that it's anything that between all of them, they cannot sit down in the room and agree to whose jurisdiction is what. Because really, if you ask me, if you ask yourself, is taxation part of accounting? No, but it is related, because at the end of the day, when you finish accounting, you are going to account for the tax as well. So, but taxation itself is a core discipline on its own. But when you look at it, there is no how that these functions will not overlap.
They can sit together.
Yeah, they can sit together. Everybody can sit in the room and have a share of these things.
All right, thank you so much.
0809 440 981. Keep on sending those messages to WhatsApp. Use the hashtag up on Twitter, freshly pressed 981, and we see your messages on youtube.com/smooth981 FM Lagos. Vivian, thanks for that message. We will do what we can. Okay, so this message in from Cisco Delgado says, China and Korea have virtually dominated our market space in every way. What's wrong with our processing and manufacturing industries? Let the government stabilize electricity and every other thing will be in place.
Me comes in to say, well, there are structural imbalances in the system. No one stops us from processing. But first, do we have the right business environment to encourage this? The second, are they playing in their
not-for-profits stifling
genuine investors from playing? just to mention 2 points.
All right. Vic comes in with this message saying, listening to the analyst talking intelligently about processing in order to earn foreign exchange. Don't you know we are always in a hurry to make a fast buck? Processing is just too much hard work. Well, uh, hard work is what gets you farther. Just saying that. All right. Moving on to news in from the Punch newspaper. NLC and IGP disagree over police exemption from 13.42 trillion naira pension scheme. So this was pension operators and the Nigeria Labour Congress on Tuesday opposed the Nigeria Police Force's request for exemption from the contributory pension scheme. Now, the NPF made a presentation at the National Assembly about its intention to quit the CPS and return to the old defined benefits scheme. However, pension operators at the event said that their bid to pull out and demand for a minimum of a 75% lump sum upon retirement would cost the country 2 trillion naira and make Nigerian retirees poor. Devo, your thoughts?
Yes, I shot the sheriff, but I did not shoot his deputy. In this instance, you've shot both the Nigerian police and their deputies because somebody's playing politics with the future and the welfare of our police. And you know already, if we start talking about police welfare, we know how bad that conversation goes. Now, there seems to be some kind of political moves taking place, especially now at the National Assembly. Bills have been sent for some level of some level of pension reform in the instance that one, that the Nigerian police force should be exempted from the scheme and returned back to the old defined benefit scheme, and also that the police should collect 75% of their retirement savings benefits upon retirement, because that's not how it works. Normally, whatever you have saved up from the time you retire till death, you keep earning, okay, based on the fact that you've saved up. Now, the now there are mixed reactions as to this move because it has passed the first reading. One of the reactions was that some people said that some were for it, okay, whilst many have been against it, saying that it would take Nigeria back to the dark ages because the old defined benefit scheme was whereby government earmarked some levels of funds for you when you retired. But we know that was riddled and wrought with a lot of corruption and inefficiency because what they'll tell you when you retire was like you saw many of the in the past. If you lived in Nigeria in the past, you see a lot of retirees sitting on government offices saying they've not been paid in 20 years, or they were paid 10% of what they were supposed to earn. And that 10% is, we're talking about 1,000 naira or like 5,000 naira, and that's what the government couldn't pay. Do we really want to go back there? Now, if you remember back then, with all those constant strikes and processions of elderly people, very elderly people who had served their country well, the contributory scheme was introduced. What meant that they would be collecting, because it was a private sector initiative, that they'll be collecting from your salary bits and pieces, and then the government would match their own bits, which has come to a very successful 13.4 trillion. So what they've said was that the NLC is speaking, and I have to commend the NLC in this instance because police as essential services may not be able to speak up for themselves. So the NLC has opposed this move, saying that first of all, the government is already battling with meeting up with financial obligations. They're asking for this new amount to be paid very soon may not work. The PENCON chair has said that it's unconstitutional. Some have said that the 13 trillion has already been invested in bonds, treasury bills, and that to now say that at a certain point to withdraw about 2 trillion from it without the bonds maturing, you wouldn't be able to source that fund. So then again, you would end up at money not being available to pay them. So really, I am for those who are against it, and I hope some way, somehow, this will be stepped down.
All right, thank you so
Quickly,
much.
can I just say one word on this? Just quickly. One thing, the police pension is operated on the current pension scheme as a closed pension. They have their own.
Okay.
All the monies are there. And I think that it's government that pays their pension contribution 100%. They are not contributing anything. So what exactly is the point of the IG saying that they want to pull out?
All right, questions there. Real quick, though, let's move on to the Punch News paper. This one comes to you likely. Few Nigerians fully vaccinated. So the federal government on Tuesday said most Nigerians were reluctant to take the second dose of the COVID-19 vaccine due to the fears of side effects which they experienced after taking the first dose. But more importantly, though, they're saying now that the Johnson & Johnson vaccine has now been made available for all eligible Nigerians. So real quick, let's what do you make of this?
Um, I think that we can only appeal to people if you braved the first one, just go take the second one. And if you have taken the second one, go and take your booster if you are qualified 6 months after. Don't let us sometime in the future when other countries will isolate Nigeria and say your country is poorly vaccinated, so we're going to be putting obstacles in your way in visiting our countries. That's one level of it. Don't also forget that the virus is still out there. You owe yourself the first responsibility of protecting yourself. If you haven't taken at all, trust science. Believe me, I trust in science. Go take it. It hasn't got anything to do with anything else, but just to protect you. That's what I have to say on that.
All right, thank you so much for that.
Okay, messages coming in. We have this one in BDA from Lucky saying, spot on regarding the need to improve processing capacity. Government policies should steer us in this direction. And luckily, taxes are disciplined in accounting, period.
That's an accountant speaking.
That's an accountant speaking. I'm very sure.
Oh, wow. Okay. Thank you for sending that message in so many times. We have this one in. Well, when you put anonymous to your message, we need a name. Thank you so much. Whilst Yinka Bolu says, so after all that happened with my dad, someone still has a mind to talk about pensions.
But yes,
Moving on.
because police officers deserve it. Please, please.
All right, let's take a look at this article in from the Guardian newspaper. National Assembly counters Nupeng and tanker drivers over 621 billion naira road fund allegations. Now, the leadership of the two unions had alleged that the Federal Ministry of Works and Housing and some governors hijacked the funds earmarked for rehabilitation and reconstruction of federal roads. And now we have this back and forth. Defoe, what's your take on it?
Well, the story's kind of incomplete because we're not getting the side of Nupeng. But what's happening here is that the Joint Committee in the National Assembly on Works held a meeting to actually resolve the allegation by Nupeng and the tanker drivers that the governors and the Ministry of Works had diverted the 621 billion road fund, which was meant for the rehabilitation and reconstruction of 21 federal roads. So when they called a meeting for every party to come forward, the Nupeng and tanker drivers, they no show. So the House Committee, or the Joint Committee, said call them irresponsible. They're giving them 7 days to show up so that they can address this matter because public funds are not taken lightly.
Another strike.
All right. Real quick, we're out of time, but let's take this message. Good morning, everyone. Regarding the vaccines, a number of Nigerians do not want to take it because of the lack of transparency regarding if the vaccines being given have expired, and also owing to the lack of government to better inform the populace. The government should do their own part. And this is a message from Fabian.
Whilst this message in from Anonymous has a name, Adeshagun. Thank you for sending that in again. Adeshagun saying when ICANN is talking about over taxation, they should leave accounting for ANAN. Okay, this was it Association of National Accountants of Nigeria. Yeah. All right then. Well, that is that for Freshly Pressed for today. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining us. Do go and find them up on social media where they are at Devo Okorie and at Lakule70. Yes, and of course you can find us at Smooth981FM. Make sure you tag us into the conversation and use the hashtag Freshly Pressed 981. Coming up, Lagos, you will be talking.
First
And then
bang.
people also tackle ICANN.
You're an accountant.
No, I'm not.